Hello, my name is Joshua Montalvo, and I'm a sophomore studying criminal justice at Bloomsburg University, and I will be doing this presentation on the United States military role in fighting ISIS. I chose this topic because a few of my friends served in Syria fighting ISIS directly, so this topic is close to me. So what exactly is ISIS? ISIS, or ISIL, is a terror group which started as an al-Qaeda splinter group. This was able to occur due to the massive destabilization that was taking place in the Middle East. ISIS is looking to create an Islamic State, which is called a caliphate. Also, they're trying to establish Sharia law to establish a society that mirrors the region's ancient past. ISIS is most known for their terroristic attacks and their public executions. They perform these attacks all throughout the world to spread fear so that they are able to gain control. Pictured on the right is the Islamic State flag as well as Islamic troops. So what exactly is a caliphate? A little bit more in depth. As I mentioned before, a caliphate is an Islamic state. It's led by a caliph who is a political and religious leader who is a successor to the Islamic prophet Muhammad. His power and authority is absolute. It is important to stop an ISIS caliphate because the locations in which the caliphates are held is where they radicalize their recruits and they use them as stronghold military positions. This picture on the right is the picture of the city Baghouz. This was an ISIS caliphate that just recently fell in March 2019 by a coalition assisted by the United States. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about Sharia law. Sharia is an Islamic law which is rooted from the teachings of the Quran and of Muhammad. It is a set of principles on the aspects on which they should live their life. These aspects include marriage, divorce, finance, and rituals such as fasting and prayer. Now, I believe it is important to keep such ideologies like this concentrated in an area because they're not really compatible with much of Western society and other democracies. The American role on fighting ISIS. America's role in fighting the Islamic State was branded as advise and assist. The United States did not want American troops on the front lines, and the majority of the public supported this. Former President Barack Obama wanted to stress that the effort against ISIS will be different than our involvement in Iraq and Afghanistan, and as I mentioned, the public was behind him with this 100%. A little bit more in depth on our involvement. In early 2014, the Islamic State managed to build significant military firepower in Syria, which ISIS used to claim land across western and northern Iraq. So this led to former President Barack Obama launching a United States airstrike campaign against ISIS in Syria, which was 1 month after starting an air campaign in Iraq. Starting in late 2015, the first American ground troops entered Syria, starting with 50 troops. The number eventually increased to 2,000 troops. The United States recruited, organized, and advised thousands of Kurds from Syria as well as Arab fighters, which was later called the Syrian Democratic Forces. This tactic pushed ISIS out of many of their strongholds, and you could see them pictured here on the right. Our current military involvement. President Trump earlier this year stated that ISIS was 100% defeated and he had plans to remove all the troops from Syria. His plans to remove the troops from Syria enraged many people in his staff, including General Mattis, who is pictured on the left. Because of this, with his displeasure with Trump's plan, General Mattis, who was the Secretary of Defense, decided to resign. Possible solutions. Although Trump plans to remove all the troops from Syria, there's reports that the United States is going to leave about 200 troops in Syria. If the United States decides to do this, a possible way to continue being successful against ISIS is to continue playing the support role. And this would be continuing the campaign, the air campaign, and also training the Kurds and the Arab natives. Now, before I get to the recap on this presentation, I would like to give my opinions on the whole America and Syria crisis. I like that we are taking the aid and advise approach acting almost as like a second line of defense. I really like that approach, how we do not want to play it the same way as Afghanistan and Iraq. I'm very pleased with the results that President Trump has produced. However, I do not agree with his tactic to want to pull all troops out of Syria. I think that could be very detrimental. I believe it is very important to always have a presence over there just in case more terror groups or ISIS again wants to arise from the ashes. So I think it's very important that we already have a presence there. And just as a little recap, ISIS wanted to establish a caliphate which implements the Sharia law. Bombing campaigns by former President Barack Obama started after ISIS was gaining massive amounts of territories. Our ground troops entered Syria in 2015, which was a huge turning point. President Trump states that ISIS is 100% defeated and wants to pull the troops out of Syria, and General Mattis decided to resign as Secretary of Defense. These are the sources I used for this presentation, so if you want to fact check or reference anything in these slides, these are where you will be able to find the information. I would just like to thank everybody for watching this and tuning in. Thank you.